What's good, y'all? What's good? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're about to go in today and we're going to discuss something I think is very important is what's going on in crypto and why I sold everything except Algorand, Bankr, and Aerodrome. Okay, after being in crypto for 5 years, I was like, you know what? Let's make a decision. Let's really double down on what we do like, cut all the other ones that we don't care much about, make sure that we double down what we understand at a high level. And after being in crypto for several years and having experiences where we made some money, we lost some money, we know what drives crypto, and obviously hype is one of the reasons. At one moment, there was utilities, right? It goes through different phases. And as I talked to y'all before, is that there's over 50 million cryptos. A lot of them are memes. A lot of them are come from the token launch pads. It's a lot of noise right now. And Bitcoin obviously is a good crypto to have in the bag. And I believe Ethereum and so is XRP. But what I see from these is not that much upside. Bitcoin reached a height of 125,000. That's only essentially a double from here. You can double your money once. I want some 10x's, some 20x potentials. So that's why I slimmed down the portfolio and I am concentrating the funds. So let's get to it. Why these three cryptos? The first one we're going to start with is Algorand. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know I'm bullish on Algorand. I get the tweets. People are like, man, the price ain't doing nothing. We just had an all-time low. We in crypto, y'all. It's volatile. Essentially, it's all a gamble. And if you really want to be a little bit more secure, I say, hey, go check out the stock market. Get you the top index funds, VOO, QQQ, right? Some VGT, something of that sort. Get some NVIDIA, some Amazon, some Google, right? That's how you stay solid. But in this market, it's definitely more risky. Part of it is because it's exciting, it's a new technology, and you can make a lot of money if you play the game right. We've been in a bear market essentially for a little while, but I think the bottom is in, if not very close. Very, very close. Some analysts I listen to say we should start to go crazy again this winter going into the new year. So I'm on board with that. But let's definitely talk about it. Let's talk about it. The first one up I want to talk to y'all about is Algorand. And if you've been tapping in on the channel, you know I'm bullish, as I said. So let's get to it. I want to pull up the Algorand Foundation's Twitter. This is where I get a lot of my information. And just go through a few posts. So the road to quantum resilience by 2027. And if y'all been paying attention to anything in crypto right now, there's been some trouble, right? Bitcoin has recently been in trouble. And I'm going to play you a little clip about this before I dive deeper into Algorand and kind of point out another reason why
I've seen plenty of power banks over my 15 years of
liking what's
tech,
going on
this
here.
Ridge one.
So, why is there? I got an ad here. That's crazy. I don't usually have ads on here, y'all. I got the premium. We'll look at that in a second. So let me show you this tab here, and then we'll get into what's going on here with Bitcoin.
Was in like, how did this happen? I mean, I was reading about one of the victims here, and he said his part of the system was in like a safety deposit box at a bank.
Yeah, I mean, people had the perception that if you have a cold wallet, that it's secure, and I think this has kind of upended that impression. You know, there was a security flaw in CoinKite's system that someone, it seems, might have even hacked into it all the way back in April times. But then the news kind of blew up over the weekend because a lot of other users were complaining about their accounts getting drained, and so they have a whole mess on their hands now.
And do most people have all their Bitcoin in one storage place, or do they kind of diversify and spread it out, kind of the way that people spread out their deposits at banks?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the person. There were some very sympathetic, harrowing stories of one guy was saying he bought 2 Bitcoin for his children's future. Another guy lost all of his savings because he just had it there. But I'm sure some of the users have it in different places too.
So look at this, y'all. Look at this. And I'm going to get to this comment in a second. I think it's a good comment. So CoinKite wallet hack, right? This is a wallet infrastructure. $110 million in Bitcoin stolen. Software flaw hit cold cards wallets. About 5,000 wallets compromised. 1,755 Bitcoin drained in days. Raises self-custody security concerns. That's crazy. And if you dive in deeper, people are pointing at the quantum security as this technology continues to develop. You have a whole bunch of Rigetti, you got a whole bunch of different companies. Bitcoin could be a major target, and is not essentially quantum secure as people would want. So talking about Algorand, I like Algorand because it does have a quantum secure roadmap like I showed y'all here. And to get to this comment, Algorand's biggest issue is they are god awful at marketing. They do and should improve. They have done better. They do put a lot of time into, we'll say, like hackathons and things of that nature to bring developers. But I think at the end of the day, what I see, what makes Base successful is obviously their connection with Coinbase, number one. Number two, they have a lot of builders that are producing platforms that bring user engagement, right? And what I think Base did correctly, and hopefully they don't ruin it, is that Base doesn't have a token, okay? Algorand is superior to Base in terms of its technology, but having a token that hasn't went up crazy in value, let's say like a Solana, that causes issues. Does that make sense? So yes, Algorand's marketing could improve, but I say over the past 5 years, if you've been around, it has definitely improved. It's doing a lot better. So I'm still bullish though. I'm seeing past, and the real test is when a real bull market, this real bull market does come, where all the cryptos of value are going up in value. Algorand should be able to do a 10x or more. And if it doesn't, we can revisit this, okay? So let's get back to it. So the road to quantum resilience, okay? Quantum is a big thing. And then if we go down to a few other posts, right? You got the multi-signatures. This is some of the new updates. Obviously, when it comes to humanitarian aid,
give $100 to women on the ground in Afghanistan who are experiencing hunger. The outcomes were incredible. Less hunger in the family, less corruption, less violence. I think this technology is an answer to the question of where does my money go?
Today's guest is Matt Keller.
So that's another thing that I do appreciate. Right now you have the global X402 challenge. That's what I was talking about the hackathons. Algorand is positioning itself very well for X402 payments, which is the HTTP, native internet payments, agent to agent. And I showed you guys already, I believe last week, about the platform I built, which is OyaPix. This is a prediction market platform, and I have 10 data points payable by any AI. And this is live on Algorand and is also live on Base, my two favorite blockchains. And this is a part of what Algorand's doing. And OyaPix is in the competition. So if you have an AI agent and you want your agent to be betting on prediction markets, my agent produces the data, okay? So that's what Algorand is doing, I believe, really well right now. Now let's go back. And as we scroll through again, volume for X402 is going up and up. Base is the leader. I believe Algorand, then Solana. I don't know about much people using Solana, but that's what it is, right? Stacy Warden, if banks want to be associated only with legitimate, secure, trustworthy blockchains, then they need to internalize the fact that their participation as validators is endogenous to the outcome they hope to achieve, right? So what Stacy is saying, banks like JP Morgan and them, Chase, US Bank, Wells Fargo, they need to start running nodes. Algorand right now is the most decentralized blockchain. That is huge for security purposes. And then again, if you compare, this is some of the reasons why I'm doubling down on Algorand. You compare the Algorand virtual machine to the Ethereum's virtual machine. This is some of the information that you'll see. Consensus, proof of stake versus pure proof of stake. And then latency, which is a sub-3 block. So basically Algorand is instant, Ethereum takes time. The finality, again, like I said, instant Ethereum, you're going to be waiting and the transaction may or may not reverse. That's kind of weird. 10,000 transactions per second, Ethereum can do 250. Low fees. I can't even use Ethereum. It's expensive. This is why I use the layer 2 base. Native protocols. One thing I don't like about Base is when I go to a DeFi, when I go in to use DeFi, you have to essentially, make me a little larger here, you have to click a transaction that says approve, right? You have to approve, and then you can go with your transaction. On Algorand, it all goes through in one way, and I think that's a way better situation. And then you have obviously the post-quantum. Ethereum is, vulnerabilities there, okay? So that's some of the reasons why I'm really tapping in with Algorand. And I think this became a situation where you either go all in or you don't. And Algorand has the superior technology. As Isaac Newton 98 said, it just needs to do better at marketing, which I think they have been, but we want more, right? Hey, Philip P. Riley 8873, ALGO. That's right. All right. There we go. So then inside ALGO Kit, a massive toolkit for developers for testing and deploying. Again, I deployed Oyapix prediction market using Alpha Arcade. I got different SDKs. I got something else that I'm working on the way, because I do believe it's better to build on this platform. We just need more visibility. So we need to be building user-facing platforms that work better on Algorand and bring the volume in. So that's what I wanted to break down on Algorand. And again, over time, we'll dive deeper into that. But that's what I like a lot. So that's one of the three, okay? And now we're gonna go over here to the second blockchain that I like a lot. And this is Base. And the next two cryptos that are in the portfolio are in the Base ecosystem. We compared Algorand versus Ethereum. Algorand in technology beats Ethereum. The only thing Ethereum has is more money on the chain and a first mover advantage. Now let's talk about Base. Base is the scaler of Ethereum, okay? Base is scaling. So interesting post. Stablecoin volume on Base in 2025, you had 17.5 trillion. Halfway through, a little over halfway through 2026, it's at 26.1 trillion. That means Base has volume. So that's where my eyes are also looking. I look for the technology, and then I also look for where the volume is. Man, I just realized, you guys, that I don't have my charger in here. My laptop is not doing well right now, and I did not plan well for this. A little embarrassed by this. So let's see, how much time do I have? 2%. Yeah, I got too hyped. Let me go get my charger. Let me put y'all on pause. Let me put y'all on pause. All right, be right back. All right, y'all. My bad. Was cooking so much I forgot that I didn't even charge my laptop while I'm over here streaming. Again, where was I? Base. The Base ecosystem is on fire. And again, this is an example of stable coins. And then this post here, every asset will trade on Base. You got USDC swaps, see Aerodrome right there, to euros, right? That's foreign exchange. Then you have gold, you have stocks, you got tokens, everything's on Base. Everything that's on Ethereum, everything that's on anything popping is definitely on Base. Now, the platform that obviously is on my list with Algorand next is Aerodrome. I've been in and out of this one actually for a while. And what I like about Aerodrome is, number one, the volume. It's the number one DEX essentially in crypto right now. Essentially in crypto, right? DEX volumes for Bitcoin on all the EVM chains, 54% is on Aerodrome. Okay, the new home of Bitcoin on chain, Aerodrome. Other DEX is 46%. So Aerodrome versus the industry on Ethereum. That's wild. Okay, and then as we scroll down, here we go. The number 1 and number 2 pools on chain are on Aerodrome, as are 4 of the top 10. That's crazy. Base with the Bitcoin, Ethereum pools, the USDC Bitcoin pools. You see Solana Base, then that's mainnet Ethereum. Uniswap obviously dominates as well. Orca does great. Then you got the USDC Ethereum. You got Hype and Pump, which is on Solana. USDC and Wrapped ETH, again, 2 of those pools. And then Base and BNB. That's the volume that I like, right? That's the volume that I like. And again, that is why my eyes is on there. So let's check this clip out.
Worth of fees. Derivatives exchanges, right, which have been very, very hot thanks to Hype. I think generated like 3.5, chains themselves like 2.5-ish, and then lending a bit less. And so when we talk about the biggest opportunity in the space is around these spot exchanges, it is because not only are they just as critical to the functioning of the on-chain economy as the chains, but they represent the biggest prize in terms of potential to capture and redistribute value maximally. And the case I make for this, right, of why we've stayed focused on this entirely, because there's certainly been, we see this all the time with projects, abundant opportunity to extend yourself in any number of different ways. The derivatives vertical was one in which there was fierce competition, right, for most of these years, right? There was no clear winner, undisputed winner, right? We had DYDX, we had GMX, we had Hyperliquid, we had all these types of things. So how did Hyperliquid go from, kind of a competitor in, this derivatives vertical to the absolutely undisputed winner, right? And this, complete repricing of the entire vertical. Well, there's certainly a number of things, but I think an outsized proportion of that is the fact that Hyperliquid maximally captured and redistributes the value that system creates back to its token holders. And so far more of the value in derivatives is captured and redistributed. We want to do that same thing for on-chain spot markets. And we want to do that because those spot markets actually create even more value than those derivative markets. And we have a model that is very similar.
Did y'all catch that? So Hyperliquid essentially feeds their revenue. It feeds the yields that they earn, the money that they earn, the volume that they earn back to their users. Aerodrome is essentially saying we do the same thing, and it's true. You can stake your Aerodrome and you receive part of the fees that the platform creates. That was a big reason why I got on Aerodrome, because I'm like, okay, you got major volume, and then you can earn back from the platform. And now, as I just showed you in that other screen, They got 4 of the top 10 pools are all on Aerodrome. 50% of Bitcoin traded now on spot is on Aerodrome. It makes sense to me. And I want a part of that. Now, there's one more I wanted to show you. Where did it go? So yeah, but anyways, like just sending the value back, like how dividend companies do, right? Sending the value back is why I want to be there. I want to capture the value as well, not just be a trader. I want the value. Locked tokens equals locked in. 50% of AERO supply is locked. Average lock duration is 3.63 years. 95% of locks are auto max locked, and 480 million has been distributed to voters to date. Enough said. That's what I got for y'all on Aerodrome. And if you ain't seen it, this is the landing page of Aerodrome. The main thing is swapping and liquidity, locking your tokens. Yeah, go to the dashboard. I'm not signed in, but this decentralized exchange is a killer. Okay. Traders, fees go to AERO. Voters choose where emissions go. Liquidity providers provide liquidity for the traders. That's the loop. And if you're holding AERO, you stake it and you get AERO, then you choose where emissions go. So what I was always doing is I go to the USDC AERO pool or USDC Ethereum pool, and I use my AERO votes to send emissions over there. And then I collect the fees from the liquidity, and then I also collect fees as a voter. It's a nice money loop for sure. Now, the third one is more speculative, is more new. This is the third token that's in the portfolio. Algorand as a utility play, blockchain trade. Then I got Aerodrome as my DeFi trade. And now I have a speculative trade. I didn't want to go the meme coin route. I chose to go the AI infrastructure route. Last week, I spoke to y'all about AI and its convergence with cryptocurrency, with blockchain technology. This one is peak to me in terms of that. So, building financial infrastructure for agents to fund themselves, launch a token, trading fees, pay for API costs, wallet tools, treasury, automation. And the big thing is, let me go to it. What I thought was crazy recently. Let me scroll through. Let me scroll through. Where did it go? So he works for Bankr, huh? Looking for a specific post. Bear with me, y'all. Oh, here's one of them. Milestone alert. 20 million paid out to builders launching with Bankr. So builders, and they're saying people like platforms and people who are launching tokens, you receive a cut of the fee. So you launch a token for your platform or whatever, right? And your platform generates trading volume. Bankr takes a cut and you take a cut. And then obviously Uniswap take a cut. So you're in on this. And if your coin is going crazy for your platform or for your meme that you're launching, you receive money. And that is what got people really paying attention over there. And not just that you can, you can just go over there and use Twitter to swap and trade for you and this and that. You also got 0.25% of every swap buys back Bankr for automated LP management. So the fees are flowing everywhere and not just to the DEX, right? Or not just to a private holder. And this one here, we're back with a capital B, 5 billion to be exact, while this count was down. So something happened with the Twitter account, but 5 billion in total volume traded on chain through the Bankr ecosystem. That's doing major launchpad numbers in my opinion here. And then they have integrated Robinhood. They have integrated trading. Let me just go to it. Trading, where is it at? Stocks, right? Tokenized stocks. My next live, I'll talk to y'all about the tokenization boom, but Bankr is on all of that. And I think that's smart. So total volume, 5 billion. Creator fees, 20 million. LMM tokens, and this is people running their AI agents. I've definitely tried it on Bankr. I do use my own infrastructure for all your picks. But 73 billion. So trending tokens today. This is Tesla, tokenized Tesla, tokenized GameStop. Hoodie was another coin that went crazy and made this creator 125,000. This creator here is 77,000. So money is flowing though. That's the point that I like. Let it flow. GitLab did something crazy, 200,000 in earned fees. Damn, that's crazy. So if your token do go crazy on here, wow. And then it helps feed Bankr buybacks. So you got a chatting interface, web app, chat interface. Obviously, you can discover tokens that are launched. They have a radar button, Robinhood, Base, and Ethereum. That's coming soon. But Base is where it blew up at. It hopped on Robinhood quickly. And then these are the projects. GitLab is sort of like GitHub, but like some decentralized version. And then you have a whole list of things. Some things I don't consider projects. Like a meme token here. You know, you can make some money from them. But something, like I said, a GitLab makes more sense to me. Felix makes sense. It's an AI agent that sells AI tools, you know, and the list goes on. But this is all in their system. And the volume is crazy. Let's go to the all-time chart. It really went crazy in January 2026. Started pretty slow, had nice spikes through here, and then boom. And I'll say steady volume. And then they have the Bankr Club leaderboard. You can compete. So they're doing community engagement. And then if you really build in your tokens, projects, apps, files, they have the gateway, skills, X402, as I talked about. It's all on there. And then the main thing is the Bankr token is why I'm holding. All of this makes sense to me. If it makes sense to y'all, leave a fire emoji in the chat. And the real question is, if you sold everything or you are condensing your portfolio, whatever it is, what are the top 3 cryptos do you want to have or do you have in your portfolio? And again, the title of this, why I sold everything except Algorand, Bankr, and Aerodrome. To make it short and simple, if you're just tuning in, Algorand, because it's, I believe, the top technology blockchain. It can improve on marketing, which they are. But I see a potential for it to go high in the bull market. And as a builder, I like Algorand. And then in the base ecosystem, I like Aerodrome as the #1 DEX, and I like Bankr as the #1 AI launchpad infrastructure. So I got the utility of a layer 1 blockchain. I'm holding the #1 DEX that does buybacks. They pay back the holders, the money flows. And then Bankr, the money also flows there, AI infrastructure. That's what I'm holding. I hope y'all like this live stream. And if y'all got any questions, make sure you leave a comment in the chat. Next live stream, I will be talking about tokenization. And I know some of y'all love Ondo, so we about to go in on it. Until the next time, y'all, peace.